Hi, welcome back to Your Checkup. We are the patient education podcast where we bring conversations from the doctor's office to your ears. On this podcast, we try to bring medicine closer to its patients. I'm Ed Dulesky, a family medicine resident in the Philadelphia area.
And I'm Nicole Rufo. I'm a nurse.
And we are so excited you were able to join us here for this bonus Tasty Tip episode.
Tasty Tip.
You thought it was a one and done. So did I. But it's not. It's back. The Tasty Tip, because we went and had a delicious meal. Where did we go?
Oh, it was so good. We went to Double Knot.
An underrated restaurant. Lives right on 13th Street in
I know.
Center
It
City.
doesn't get as much hype as like the other restaurants in that little area do.
There is a little bit of a nucleus of good restaurants there. I'm thinking Alvez comes to mind, Prunella, Darling Jack. There's one next to Darling Jack.
Darling Jack.
Darling Jack. This is just a poppy in front of me. No,
Darling Jack is really good too. But yeah, Double Knot.
But Double Knot is where we went, and it was delicious. I personally wanted to start with this little hidden downstairs area. If you were to look on their little resi, it says downstairs dining. It's not the floor you walk in on. There is a whole area below.
I know. We had only been there for happy hour before, so we thought that it was just like a bar area and like literally like a couple tables. We thought it was so small.
Yeah.
And then the girl brought us back like through this door and she was like, all right, down the stairs to your left. And we thought we were getting murdered. But to our pleasant surprise, it's like a whole huge restaurant down there.
Yep. There's another bar, which I'm wondering, like, can you just like walk in there and go down there to that bar? One question I have.
Yeah.
I was mesmerized by the little shelf, the stone shelf they had with all of the candles, because that's basically all of the lighting down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all delicious. Of course, there were the flavors of Japan there. But, I mean, maybe you tell us the dish that we can't stop thinking about.
Oh, it was the spicy pork ramen.
And it was just...
it's a side. Well, we didn't get a main dish because that's not how we like to eat. We like to get a bunch of little things and share them.
Yeah. If our couple that we're going to dinner with on Friday is listening here, that this is a tasty tip for how that's going to go.
Hope you guys know what you're getting into on Friday. Yeah, anyway, so it was the last thing that we got, and it was the spicy pork ramen, and it was probably, I think that was my favorite thing there. And I haven't had a lot of ramen in my life, but that was the best I've ever had.
Yeah, I was going to say, color me not like a ramen connoisseur, but it was so savory. There were touches of umami in there. It was absolutely delicious. I can't stop thinking about it. I want to go back and get it again.
Should we go get some tonight?
Well, it also seems like they don't do takeout or delivery, which good for them.
I know.
But I want it. I want it again. There were other things that were delicious. I was thinking of it was a crab based.
Oh yeah, it was like a crab scallop spicy situation.
Yeah, and that was served on a large shell, it seems. That was delicious. Oh, the whole thing. But really wanted to tell you guys about Double Knot, tell you that it is underrated, and if you have the inclination, if you're near Philadelphia, maybe you check it out. No, but they didn't sponsor us, unfortunately. But that place was delicious.
Mm-hmm. We'll be going back.
We'll be going back. But you know what isn't delicious?
What?
Farts. Specifically, the silent but deadly farts. That's right. You know, we're stepping outside. This is actually a little funny haha episode because we heard this recently. So we did a little digging and actually found the science for you about why are farts so smelly and is there anything to do about it?
Well, turns out there is.
Yeah.
There is something to do about it.
Well, this is near and dear to our heart because we know a lot of people who have flatulence.
Yeah, especially you.
I'm not going to fall on the sword for this one. So this was a very interesting thing. And, you know, while you're listening to us speak to you, probably in the privacy of your headphones, here's this little bit of information that can be helpful in social situations when a raunchy, stinky stench emitting from your butt isn't socially acceptable. Like, what can you do about it? But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about what we got going on here. So, Nick, let's talk about the science behind the smell. Where does the odor come from?
So the odor is primarily caused by hydrogen sulfide, which is a gas that is naturally produced in our colon during the breakdown of food.
Yeah, it's like that rotten egg smell that you get when you're walking around or you're in a crowd of people and there are no rotten eggs around, but all of a sudden, bam, there's a rotten egg nearby. That wasn't an egg. It was probably a fart.
It was hydrogen sulfide.
It was hydrogen sulfide. So that's the major culprit breaking down in our colons and kind of making our gas unpleasant. Side note, flatulence is normal and healthy. Normal flatulence, 10 to 20 times a day. That's totally fine. But if you're in a place where you're worried about it smelling, let's keep going. So then, Nick, tell us what's the key. What is the key to getting away from this? On like a rare instance, you're in a pinch and like you absolutely cannot have a silent but deadly flatulence. Tell us.
So the key is Pepto-Bismol.
So Pepto-Bismol is also called bismuth subsalicylate. So Pepto-Bismol usually is well known for having the common ability to soothe an upset stomach for whatever reason. But Pepto-Bismol also possesses a lesser known talent of binding to the hydrogen sulfide ion in the colon. So it basically works as like a tiny odor eliminating goblin that's just in there swooping up and taking care of all of the pesky ions that are causing all of this trouble. Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting.
There's a whole article in American Family Physician about how to manage flatulence, and there's 9 citations from it. So all of this information comes from a study that was published in the journal Gastroenterology, where they looked at the effect of bismuth subsalicylate on hydrogen sulfide release in the human colon. And the researchers actually compared human and rat fecal samples in their experiments, and they found that the bismuth subsalicylate actually dramatically decreases the hydrogen sulfide release, and the more you use, the less that there was around. It actually showed there was 95% reduction in the sulfur product after taking Pepto-Bismol for about 3 to 7 days.
So Pepto is a proven odor fighter.
Pepto is a proven odor fighter. But, I mean, is this safe to use long-term? Like, what are the ins and outs of it, though?
So it's safe for short-term use, not stellar for long-term use, because it can cause constipation or darkening of your tongue.
Yeah, and I think there's also some risk for salicylate toxicity. So that's also one of the reasons that long-term, like day in, day out, you probably shouldn't be using it.
Yeah, not a permanent fix, just for situational fixes.
But it sounds like in a pinch.
Yeah.
If you're in a moment when you cannot afford to let one loose, that will really put a damper on the olfactory system of your company. Like, maybe this is the answer. And there are also some dietary changes long-term that can be made. There are some foods that are more rich in sulfur, like beans, eggs, cruciferous vegetables, and sometimes increasing fiber intake to promote regularity can help. But what a tasty tip. Not a tasty topic for sure, but
I think it's tasty all around.
A tasty tip. As needed, Pepto-Bismol use, cleared by your doctor, of course, to maybe reduce the chance of a smelly fart. Bang. That is your tasty tip today. And think about Double Knot and their spicy pork ramen. Thank you for coming back for this episode of Your Checkup. Today, hopefully you were able to learn something for yourself, a loved one, or
a neighbor with smelly farts.
Please visit our website, visit our Instagram, send us an email, yourcheckuppod@gmail.com. Send us some fan mail if you wish. And most importantly, stay healthy, my friends. Until next time, I'm Ed Dulesky.
I'm Nicole Arufo.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Muffins. Muffins.
Tubular.
You want to be tubular. This information may provide a brief overview of diagnosis, treatment, and medications. It's not exhaustive and is a tool to help you understand potential options about your health. It doesn't cover all details about conditions, treatments, or medications for a specific person. This is not medical advice or an attempt to substitute medical advice. You should contact a healthcare provider for personalized guidance based on your unique circumstances. We explicitly disclaim any liability relating to the information given or its use. This content doesn't endorse any treatments or medications for a specific patient. Always talk to your healthcare provider for complete information tailored to you. In short, I'm not your doctor.
I am not your nurse.
And make sure you go get your own checkup with your own personal doctor.